Now that you've drawn your portrait, we're going to go ahead and erase away the things you're not going to want to show in your final picture. So this would be erasing anything you wouldn't go over in marker for your final picture. So here's mine. I see the hair, but here's that quarter away down and the side of her head. So I'm going to go ahead and erase that so I don't get confused. I know we're on our dark paper, but that's where we're going to have the glue, and we want to get rid of these before we do any glue, because I'm going to get confused and put glue on the wrong part, and you can't really get rid of that. You can try and maybe wipe it off, but then your picture is going to be very messy, so we really want to take our time. And I'm looking, I think I want her eyebrow to be a little bit bigger. Maybe I'll change it to this pointy instead of curvy. So you want to change any things like this you would change before you do marker. I'm going to erase this line. We shouldn't be coloring things in too much. I know I have this right in the middle of the eye, so I will go over this dot in the glue, but this whole ring around, I want to be open so I could make green eyes or purple eyes or steely blue or brown eyes. If I've colored over that part, I won't be able to see it. So make sure that you leave those things open. Add some eyebrows. Here's that nose. I want to make sure just this part's showing and not all the different lines. So I'm going to erase some of this stuff away. And down here. So once you think you've got all those erased, I do want to leave this edge so I know the ear's not on her face. Give a little difference there. Then we're going to go ahead and get the glue. What I want you to make sure you pay attention to is how fast and how much you use. I want you to just go nice and smooth over the lines. So take your time, take a breath, slow down, don't rush it. But I also don't want you just squirting tons. So here would be, let's go ahead and show you an example of too much. I'm squeezing really hard, and I can tell it's really lifting off the paper a lot. Now if I tip my paper, if I just hold my paper up, maybe I'm walking to the drying rack or something, my whole picture would be messed up. I'd have a gooey eyeball, or her mouth would be dripping. It'd be disgusting. So I don't want to make this mistake on my real project. If you use too little, if I hold this straight up and down and really press against the paper, it's really thin. Things like this aren't going to show up in the end. We want a nice line. We want it to be pretty thick, but just like this, where it's off the paper, but if I hold it up this way, it's not going anywhere. It's going to stay put, unlike the other line. And this thin one, if I were to go over it with those chalks, it would disappear. We wouldn't be able to see it. So we're looking for something thin like this, not too much, not too little. And if we need to practice, we can always get the practice paper out. I'm going to come back here. I am right-handed, so I start over here in the left corner, because then, as I keep going, I shouldn't have to put my hand back on it. If I start over here and on the bottom, I might have to put my hand on top of it and squish it and smear it, which is not the point. If I'm left-handed, I'd start in this corner. So look at your picture and decide which corner you'd start with. Alright, I'm going to start at the top too. And I let the top of my glue just sit on the paper. Can always go back. I give a little squeeze, but I'm not squishing it, just nice and slow. I want to make sure I can see the pencil line somewhat. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but I want to try. I'm trying to follow the drawing since we've been working so hard on these portraits. Nice and slow, all the way down. Now I took it one line at a time. Right? I didn't go part of the way and then just stop. One nice smooth line. So I'm going to finish this on this side. So nice smooth and going down. I think I should be okay covering this area because I shouldn't have to put my hand all the way to the edge of the paper. Now I don't like these bumps. You can see these bumps happen. There were air bubbles. So all I need to do is gently kind of squish them just a little bit. I'm not even touching the paper. I'm just kind of touching the top of the glue to it till it pops. Now if I don't like how these look, I'm going to take the glue, set it down, and go real smooth. Try and smooth them out. They might get a little big. It happens, but we want to take our time. Alright, that I think is better. Over here I have a little bit of glue on the edge, so I'm just going to wipe that off. You can use Kleenex, whatever you need to do. Nice and slow. One line, I'm going to go curve down. I should slow down a little bit more. I'm going a little fast, slow. And I do want the edge of her face to show, so I'm going to take that like it's one line. Here's the ear. And when you get to smaller areas, again, make sure you wipe off any extra because you don't want a big pile of glue. When you get to these smaller lines, right in the detail of the eye, be nice and careful. Now I'm going to finish the eyebrow first. Now here it's going to be tricky. I should have probably done the top first. I got to kind of hold it up. Here's the eyelashes. Now this is the part I got to go real slow and to get lots of little lines at a time, because if I brush it, I'm going to make this a huge blob, right? So I'm not even really squeezing this bottle right now, just the littlest bit. And then I want to do the edge of the eye too, right? Right in here. Nice and slow. And I'm going to fill in the dot right there. So as you can see, this is really starting to fill in the picture. It's a big white line, but when it dries it'll be clear and we'll be able to see the blue of my paper in between it. So please take your time when you're making your glue lines. Remember, not too much. This will be a mess. This is not going to be your best effort. And not too little where it doesn't even show. We want this nice line, nice smooth line.